Hello, and welcome back to another episode on our channel. Here we share the testimonies of individuals who have had profound near-death experiences and other spiritual encounters. Today we're going to hear the story of Eliana Reeves. She claims that she died, experienced a powerful near-death event, felt a divine presence, and received startling revelations about December 2024. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure to do so now. Drop a comment with your name and where you're from. Now let's dive into Eliana's testimony. My name is Eliana Reeves, and I'm here to share a story that completely altered the course of my life. As we approach December 2024, I find myself filled with a mix of emotions: nervousness, anticipation, and above all, a profound sense of purpose. I'm 33 years old, living in Boulder, Colorado, and until 2019, I lived a life that most would describe as ordinary. I worked as a systems analyst, spent my weekends hiking the stunning mountains nearby with my partner, Katrina, and occasionally wondered if there was more to life than the routine. I never considered myself particularly religious or spiritual. My background in science made me lean towards a practical, logical view of the world. I trusted what I could see, touch, and measure. The idea of a reality beyond the physical world seemed, at most, like a comforting notion for those who feared the unknown. Little did I know that my outlook was about to be completely upended by an experience that would challenge everything I thought I knew about reality. In hindsight, I see that my life before 2019 was like a slumber, a dream I had yet to awaken from. I was oblivious to the deeper truths of the universe, content with the shadows flickering on the cave wall, much like in Plato's allegory. But destiny, or something far greater, had other plans for me. Now, as I sit here on the brink of what I believe will be the most pivotal moment in human history, I feel compelled to share my story. Not to glorify myself or seek attention, but because I believe that my experience might provide hope and guidance for a world on the verge of monumental change. What I'm about to tell you isn't just a survival story or an extraordinary tale of a near-death experience. It is a testimony to a greater reality, a reality that is always around us, though we seldom recognize it in our day-to-day lives. It is a message of hope, boundless love, and a radiant future that awaits all of humanity. I ask that you open not just your mind, but also your heart, as I share my journey with you. What I experience transcends intellectual understanding. It is something that must be felt, lived, and embraced with your whole being. Get ready for a story that will push the boundaries of what you believe to be possible. A story that begins with a tragic incident in the Colorado mountains, but unfolds into a journey through divine realms and back, bearing a message that has the power to change the world. It was a crisp autumn day in 2019, one of those picture-perfect days that could have been taken straight from a postcard. The sky was a rich azure, dotted with clouds that looked as soft as cotton. The trees on the mountainsides were ablaze with vibrant reds, oranges, and golds, creating a breathtaking display of color. Katrina and I decided to make the most of the day by taking a scenic drive through the Colorado mountains, something we did frequently. I remember vividly how I felt that morning. There was something in the air, a kind of energy, a sense of anticipation that I couldn't quite put my finger on. I chalked it up to the beauty of the day and the joy of spending quality time with Katrina, away from the stresses of work and the mundane concerns of everyday life. Little did I know that this day would forever alter the trajectory of my life. We set off early, our favorite tunes playing softly on the radio as the car hugged the winding roads of the mountains. Every turn revealed breathtaking views, and we chatted excitedly about our future plans, dreams that now seemed trivial compared to what was about to unfold. As we climbed higher, the road grew narrower and more treacherous. We had made this trip countless times, so I felt completely at ease despite the steep cliffs that bordered the road. Katrina was driving, her hands steady and sure on the wheel, but everything changed in an instant as we approached a particularly sharp curve. A car coming from the opposite direction suddenly swerved into our lane. Maybe the driver was caught off guard by the bend, or perhaps a momentary distraction caused him to lose control. Whatever the reason, it didn't matter in that split second. I saw Katrina's eyes widen in terror, her hands desperately turning the wheel to avoid a collision. I felt the car skid as the tires lost their grip on the road. For a brief moment, it seemed we had narrowly avoided the other vehicle, but our relief was short-lived. The car continued to slide, now careening towards the edge of the road. Time seemed to slow down. I noticed every detail with startling clarity, the leaves swaying in the breeze, the sun glinting off the car's hood, the look of sheer panic on Katrina's face, and the vast emptiness beyond the road's edge, beckoning us into the abyss. Our car plowed through the guardrail as if it were tissue paper. For a fleeting moment, it felt as though we were suspended in midair. Then the descent began. The car flipped once, twice, 3 times. Each impact was deafening, metal groaning and glass shattering. I was slammed against the seatbelt with brutal force, feeling as though every bone in my body was being shaken to its core. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the car came to a halt. We were upside down, held in place only by our seatbelts. The silence that followed was overwhelming, broken only by the occasional creak of metal and the distant sound of wind. I opened my eyes, disoriented and in shock. Through the shattered windshield, I could see the sky and treetops. With a sinking feeling, I realized we were precariously perched on the edge of a cliff, the car held up by a fragile strip of twisted metal. It was at this moment, suspended between life and death, that my journey truly began, a journey that would take me beyond the limits of what I had ever believed possible and forever alter my understanding of the universe and our place in it. As the car teetered on the brink, an inexplicable calm washed over me. The initial terror subsided, replaced by a serene acceptance of what seemed like the inevitable. I glanced over at Katrina, who was unconscious beside me, a thin line of blood trickling down her forehead. I wanted to reach out to comfort her, but my body refused to obey. It was in this moment of utter helplessness that something extraordinary began to happen. My perception started to shift in ways I had never experienced before. It was as if my consciousness was expanding, breaking free from the confines of my physical body. First, there was a sensation of lightness, as though the weight of my body was dissolving. The pain I should have felt from the crash was absent. Instead, I was filled with a deep sense of peace and clarity, both strange and reassuring. Then I realized I was somehow observing the crash scene from outside my body. I could see the mangled car, the twisted metal, and my own form still strapped in the seat. Yet I felt no fear, only a profound sense of wonder at what was happening. I could see Katrina and myself trapped in the wreckage, but I also saw beyond that. I could perceive the trees surrounding us, the sky above, and even the road from which we had fallen. It was as if I could see in every direction at once, a perspective that defied logic yet felt completely natural in that moment. As this newfound awareness deepened, I began to notice something even more astonishing. The world around me, the trees, the rocks, even the air, seemed to be alive, vibrating with an energy I had never sensed before. Every object emitted a soft glow, and I could feel the invisible threads connecting everything around me. But what struck me most was the realization that I was not alone in this experience. I sensed the presence of countless other consciousnesses surrounding me. These weren't physical forms I could see with my eyes, but rather presences that I could feel with a part of myself I had never known existed. These presences were warm, welcoming, and filled with an overwhelming sense of love. One of these presences drew closer, or perhaps it became more noticeable to me. There were no words spoken, yet I clearly understood the communication. It was an invitation to go further, to leave the physical world behind and explore this new realm of existence. For a moment, I hesitated. I glanced back at the wrecked car and at Katrina, who was still unconscious, and felt a surge of concern and attachment. But the presence reassured me that everything would be all right, that this was simply a transition, not an end. With that reassurance, I surrendered completely to the experience. It was like diving into an ocean of light and consciousness. The last threads tethering me to the physical world slipped away, and I found myself being carried into an entirely new dimension of existence. As I entered this new plane, my consciousness continued to expand. I began to grasp concepts that were previously beyond my understanding. I saw the interconnectedness of all things, the unity that underlies all existence. I realized that what we call death is merely a transition, a shift in state, not an end. In this elevated state of awareness, time as we know it ceased to exist. I can't say how long my journey in this realm lasted. It could have been mere seconds or an eternity. What I do know is that every moment was filled with profound revelations and transformative experiences that are difficult to put into human words. I found myself standing at the threshold between two worlds, with one foot in each reality. On one side was the physical world I had always known, with all its limitations and challenges. On the other was a realm of infinite possibilities, boundless love, and universal wisdom. It was in this state of expanded existence that I received the vision that would not only change my life, but also potentially alter the course of humanity. As I floated in this state of heightened consciousness, something extraordinary began to unfold before me. It was as if the very fabric of the universe was being pulled back, revealing secrets and truths that are typically beyond human comprehension. Suddenly, my attention was drawn to a vision of Earth. But this was not like seeing the planet from a satellite or spacecraft. It was a far more comprehensive perspective. I could see not just the physical form of the planet, but also its energetic and spiritual layers. As I observed, I noticed that the energy surrounding the Earth was shifting. Waves of golden light began to envelop the planet, pulsing with increasing intensity. It was as if the Earth itself was awakening, raising its vibration to a new level of existence. Then, as if someone had adjusted the focus of a cosmic lens, my attention was drawn to a specific point in time. August 2024 shone with a brilliance that eclipsed everything around it. It was as if this particular month was a beacon, capturing the focus of the entire universe. Instinctively, I understood, without needing words, that this would be a time of profound transformation for humanity. I witnessed millions across the globe experiencing simultaneous spiritual awakenings, as though veils were being lifted from their eyes, revealing the true essence of reality for the first time. I saw waves of energy sweeping across the planet, activating ancient power centers and awakening new consciousness. Sacred sites like pyramids, stone circles, and other places of spiritual significance began to pulse with renewed energy, as if preparing to play a pivotal role in this monumental transformation. Even more astounding was the vision of humanity's collective consciousness evolving. I observed the barriers that had long divided people dissolving, replaced by a profound sense of unity and interconnectedness. Conflicts that had once seemed insurmountable began to resolve as people awakened to their true nature as spiritual beings having a human experience. The vision expanded further, revealing the long-term impact of this transformation. I saw the dawn of a new era characterized by peace, cooperation, and mutual understanding. Revolutionary advances in science and technology, inspired by this new understanding of reality, led to solutions for some of the world's most urgent problems, from climate change to the eradication of disease. But what moved me most was the transformation in humanity's relationship with the Earth and the cosmos. I saw people rediscovering their connection to nature, treating the planet not as a resource to be exploited, but as a living entity to be respected and cared for. Humanity was beginning to take its first true steps toward becoming a cosmic civilization, exploring not only physical space, but also the spiritual dimensions of the universe. However, the vision also made clear that this awakening would not come without challenges. I saw periods of confusion and chaos as old systems and structures that no longer served the greater good began to collapse. Some people struggled to adapt to this new reality, with some embracing the change eagerly and others resisting out of fear of the unknown. I understood that the role of those like me, who had glimpsed this greater reality, would be crucial in the times to come. We would be called to be beacons of light, helping to guide others through this significant transition. As the vision faded, I was filled with an overwhelming sense of unconditional love and compassion for all of humanity. I realized that, despite the challenges ahead, the ultimate outcome would be an unprecedented evolution in human consciousness. August 2024 would not mark an end, but the beginning of a new era for humankind. When the vision finally dissipated, I felt transformed. I knew that my life would never be the same again. I now carried not only the knowledge of what was to come, but also the responsibility to help pave the way for this great transformation. Suddenly, my journey into the spiritual realm came to an abrupt end. I felt myself being pulled back into my physical body with incredible force, like plunging into icy water after basking in the warmth of the sun. The transition was shocking and disorienting. I opened my eyes and found myself back in the wrecked car. The contrast between the expansive freedom I had just experienced and the physical limitations of my body was overwhelming. For a moment, I felt a profound sadness and a sense of loss, as if I had been torn away from my true home. The sounds around me grew clearer. I could hear the creak of metal settling, the wind blowing through the shattered windows, and faintly in the distance, the sound of approaching sirens. The harsh reality of our accident came rushing back with a vengeance. Experience were a whirlwind of emotions and realizations. I turned to Danielle, who was still unconscious beside me, and the fear for her safety brought me fully back to the present. I called her name repeatedly, my voice strained and shaky, desperate to hear any sign of life. After what felt like an eternity, she finally stirred, letting out a faint moan. The wave of relief that washed over me was indescribable. Despite everything I had just experienced, the love and concern I felt for Danielle was real and immediate. It struck me then that no matter how transformative my journey had been, I was still very much human, tethered to this world and the people I loved. The next few minutes passed in a disorienting blur. Rescue teams arrived and worked carefully to extract us from the mangled car. I remember being placed on a stretcher, staring up at the bright blue sky that seemed so peaceful in contrast to the chaos around me. Through it all, I clung to the memories of my experience, afraid that they might fade away like a dream upon waking. The vision of September 2024 was seared into my consciousness, both a promise and a burden that I knew would shape the rest of my life. At the hospital, doctors marveled at how lightly we had emerged from the accident. Other than a few cuts and bruises, Danielle and I were largely unscathed. They called it a miracle, and I knew in my heart that it truly was. But while my body was intact, my inner world had been irrevocably transformed. I looked at everyone around me, doctors, nurses, other patients, and saw them with new eyes. I could sense the light within each of them, the divine spark that connected them to the vast universe I had glimpsed. The everyday worries and anxieties that had once consumed me now seemed trivial. How could I stress over work deadlines or bills when I had touched the infinite and understood the profound interconnectedness of all things? In the days following the accident, I found it difficult to readjust to normal life. The world felt both familiar and alien, with colors appearing more vibrant, sounds richer, and each moment filled with a significance I struggled to fully grasp. Danielle noticed the change in me almost immediately. She looked at me with a mix of concern and curiosity, sensing that something profound had happened, but unable to comprehend its full extent. I tried to explain my experience to her, but words felt inadequate, unable to convey the magnitude of what I had seen and felt. As days turned into weeks and weeks into months, I began to realize that my return to the physical world marked the beginning of a new phase in my life. I was not just carrying memories of a profound experience. I was now driven by a mission. The vision of September 2024 was not something I could keep to myself. It was a message that needed to be shared, a preparation for the great transformation that was coming. I knew the path ahead would not be easy. I anticipated skepticism, misunderstanding, and even ridicule. But I also knew I was not alone. The connection I had felt to the universe and all life continued to be a source of strength and guidance. As I physically healed from the accident, I began to plan how I would share my message with the world. Though September 2024 might seem distant, I was acutely aware of how quickly time would pass. There was much work to be done, many people to reach, and countless minds and hearts to open to the possibilities of what the future held. My return was not an end, but a beginning. A new journey was unfolding before me, one that would take me to places I had never imagined and bring me into contact with others who, like me, dreamed of a better world. Despite the uncertainties ahead, I faced the future with a heart full of hope and a spirit fortified by the universal love I had experienced. The first few days after my near-death experience had set me on a path that I could never have anticipated, and I was ready to embrace it fully. The first days after the accident were, to say the least, surreal. I felt like I was straddling two worlds, the physical one around me, with its familiar routines and expectations, and the spiritual realm I had glimpsed, a memory that still reverberated in every fiber of my being. The first thing I noticed was a profound change in my perception. Colors seemed more vibrant, sounds richer, and more complex. It was as if my senses had been heightened, allowing me to experience the world with an intensity I had never known before. Sometimes this was overwhelming. A simple sunset could move me to tears, as I was overwhelmed by its beauty and by the awareness of the interconnectedness of all things. Sleep became a challenge. My dreams were vivid and charged with symbolism, often transporting me back to that realm of light and expanded consciousness. I would wake up in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat and disoriented, the boundary between dream and reality blurred. My relationship with time also changed drastically. Hours could slip away while I was lost in thought or meditation, contemplating the implications of my experience and the vision of September 2024. Yet at the same time, each moment felt infinitely precious, brimming with potential and meaning. Danielle became my anchor during this turbulent time. Her presence was a constant reminder of the love and connection I had felt on the spiritual plane, now manifest in the physical world. She listened patiently as I struggled to articulate what I had experienced. Even when she couldn't fully understand, her unwavering support was crucial to my readjustment. However, not everything was harmonious between us. My new outlook on life inevitably caused tensions in our relationship. Things that had once seemed important, career advancement, accumulating material possessions, now felt trivial to me. Understandably, Danielle struggled to adjust to this new version of me. Returning to work was another challenge. Sitting in front of a computer, dealing with codes and deadlines, felt surreal after having experienced the vastness of the cosmos. My colleagues noticed the change in me, though they couldn't quite put their finger on what was different. Some found me distracted or disinterested, while others commented on a new serenity I seemed to emanate. It was during this time that I began to feel a calling to share my experience and the message I had received. I started tentatively, speaking to close friends about what had happened. Their reactions ranged from fascination to polite skepticism, but what surprised me was how many of them had their own stories to share, unexplained experiences, moments of deep connection, insights that didn't fit into their usual worldview. I realized I wasn't alone. There were others like me, people who had glimpsed something beyond the veil of everyday reality. I began actively seeking them out, joining online discussion groups, attending lectures on spirituality and expanded consciousness. At the same time, I immersed myself in studying near-death experiences, quantum physics, spiritual philosophies, anything that might help me understand and contextualize what I had gone through. The more I learned, the more I saw the connections between different fields of knowledge, all pointing to a larger, more interconnected reality than our conventional understanding suggests. But not every day was filled with revelations and discoveries. There were moments of deep doubt when I questioned whether it had all just been a hallucination caused by the trauma of the accident. There were days when the enormity of the task before me, preparing people for the great transformation I had envisioned, felt overwhelming. In those moments, I would recall the feeling of unconditional love and acceptance I had experienced during my spiritual journey. It gave me the strength to keep going, to face skepticism and misunderstanding with compassion and patience. I knew that the path ahead wouldn't be easy, but I was committed to walking it, guided by the profound truth I had glimpsed and the mission that now defined my life. Slowly, day by day, I began to find a balance. I learned to navigate between the spiritual world I had experienced and the physical world in which I still lived. I realized that my task wasn't only to prepare others for the change that was coming, but also to learn to live fully in the present, incorporating the lessons I had learned into every aspect of my life. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, I felt more and more prepared for the journey ahead. The path wouldn't be easy, but I carried with me the certainty that each step I took was guided by a greater purpose. With a heart full of hope and determination, I began to plan how I would share my message with the world, acutely aware that time was passing and that September 2024 was approaching each day. As the months passed after my near-death experience, I felt an increasing urge to share what I had experienced and the message I had received. It wasn't just a desire, but a deep need, as if every cell in my body was programmed for this mission. I started modestly, sharing my story with close friends and family. Reactions were varied. Some listened with fascination, others with skepticism, and some with clear concern. Danielle, in particular, struggled to understand. She had witnessed my transformation firsthand, but still found it difficult to fully accept the magnitude of what I was claiming to have experienced. I quickly realized that I needed to find a way to communicate my experience that was accessible and non-threatening. I didn't want to be seen as someone preaching or imposing a new belief, but rather as someone sharing a perspective that could bring hope and transformation. I decided to start a blog where I could share not only my story, but also reflections on consciousness, spirituality, and human potential. To my surprise, the blog quickly started gaining followers. People from all over the world began contacting me, sharing their own experiences of transcendent moments or expressing how my story had touched something deep within them. Encouraged by this response, I began accepting invitations to speak at small groups and local events. At first, I shook with nervousness every time I stood in front of an audience. But as I continued to share my story, I gained confidence. I learned to articulate my experience in a way that resonated with people, regardless of their beliefs or backgrounds. One of the most challenging aspects was talking about the vision of September 2024. I knew that for many, this sounded like an apocalyptic prophecy or a New Age fantasy. I had to learn to present it in a way that emphasized hope and the potential for positive transformation rather than fear or fatalism. Along the way, I found unexpected allies, scientists intrigued by aspects of my experience that seemed to align with theories of quantum physics, spiritual leaders who saw in my message echoes of ancient wisdom traditions, environmentalists who resonated with the vision of a humanity more connected to the earth. But I also faced opposition. Skeptics who dismissed my experience as a trauma-induced hallucination. Traditional religious leaders who viewed my message as a threat to their established teachings. Friends and coworkers who began to avoid me, uncomfortable with my new outlook on life. Each challenge, however, only served to strengthen my resolve. I learned to see resistance not as an obstacle, but as an opportunity to refine my message, to find more effective ways to communicate the truths I had experienced. As my audience grew, so did the responsibility I felt. People started looking to me for guidance, hoping I had all the answers. It was an uncomfortable position, one that weighed heavily on me. I wasn't a guru or a prophet. I was just someone who had experienced something extraordinary and was trying to make sense of it like everyone else. I knew I couldn't provide all the answers, but I could offer something equally important. A space for people to explore these questions together. I began encouraging open dialogue, emphasizing that my experience was just one perspective and that the true power lay in collective exploration and understanding. This approach resonated with many, helping to build a community of individuals who were not just followers, but active participants in the journey toward greater awareness and transformation. The vision of September 2024 continued to loom large in my mind, but I came to see it not as a destination, but as a milestone on a much longer journey, a journey we were all taking together, one step at a time. I constantly remind myself that my role is not to be a guru or spiritual leader, but simply a messenger, sharing what I have experienced and encouraging others to seek their own truths. The journey has always been about guiding people to their own discoveries, not about imposing my experience on anyone else. Today, nearly 7 years after my near-death experience, I find myself at the center of a growing movement. People from all corners of the world are coming together, united by the vision of a more conscious and connected future. We organize conferences, retreats, and workshops, creating spaces where people can explore their own transcendental experiences and prepare for the transformation to come. Technology plays a crucial role in our mission. Through social media, podcasts, and live broadcasts, we have been able to reach millions of people with our message. We've developed meditation and virtual reality apps that help users expand their consciousness and connect with higher dimensions of reality. These tools have become invaluable in making these experiences accessible to a global audience. However, as September 2024 approaches, I feel a growing urgency. There is still so much to be done, so many people to reach. Sometimes the weight of responsibility feels overwhelming. In these moments, I turn to meditation, reconnecting with that sense of peace and unity that I experienced during my journey beyond life. Danielle has remained by my side throughout this journey, even though our relationship has evolved in ways neither of us could have predicted. She has become not only my life partner, but also a crucial collaborator in our mission. Her grounded and practical perspective complements my more ethereal outlook, keeping us anchored as we navigate uncharted waters. Looking ahead to the months between now and September 2024, I feel a mix of anticipation and apprehension. The magnitude of what is to come sometimes seems beyond comprehension. But then I remember the vision I received, the unconditional love I experienced, and I know that no matter what happens, we are on the right path. Sharing this message has become more than a mission. It is the central purpose of my existence. Every person we reach, every mind we open to new possibilities, every heart we touch with the promise of a brighter future is a victory. And as we continue on this journey, I know we are paving the way for a new era of human consciousness. As we approach September 2024, I feel a palpable intensification of the energy around us. It's as if the air itself is charged with expectation, vibrating with possibilities not yet realized. Our network of conscious and awakened individuals continues to grow exponentially, and I feel that we are on the threshold of something truly extraordinary. Over the past few months, we have intensified our efforts to prepare as many people as possible for the imminent transformation. We organize mass meditation retreats where thousands of people come together to collectively raise their consciousness. These events are powerful, creating energy fields that can be felt for miles around. We are also working tirelessly to spread practical knowledge that will help people navigate the changes that lie ahead. This includes meditation and mindfulness techniques, practices to raise personal vibration, and methods for tuning into the subtler energies of the universe. Our augmented reality app, which guides users through consciousness-expanding exercises, has already surpassed 50 million downloads. However, not everything has been easy. As our message spreads, we also face a rising tide of skepticism and even hostility. Some accuse us of spreading panic or false hope. Others label us as a cult or a dangerous movement. Dealing with this negativity is a constant challenge, but I strive to maintain compassion even in the face of the fiercest resistance. Through it all, I remind myself of the vision that guides me. The love and interconnectedness I experienced on the other side is my anchor. This journey is not about forcing anyone to believe, but about offering a vision of what is possible. A vision rooted in love, unity, and the potential for human transformation. As we near September 2024, I am more determined than ever to continue sharing this message, knowing that we are on the cusp of something profound. An unexpected development has been the growing interest of the scientific community in our work. Researchers from several renowned universities are conducting studies on the effects of our practices on brain activity and general well-being. Some are even beginning to explore the possibility of large-scale shifts in collective consciousness. Although skepticism remains, I feel we are starting to build bridges between science and spirituality, an alignment that seemed unthinkable just a few years ago. Personally, I feel the change is intensifying within me. My connection to the spiritual realm that I experienced during my near-death experience seems to be strengthening. I have increasingly frequent visions and insights, often waking up in the middle of the night with crystal clarity about the next steps we should take. It's as if the boundaries between this world and the spiritual realm are becoming thinner, allowing information and guidance to flow more freely. Danielle has been my rock throughout this entire process. Her steadying presence keeps me grounded when I sometimes feel overwhelmed by the magnitude of what we are facing. She has also undergone her own transformations, developing a sensitivity to subtle energies that she did not previously possess. Seeing her blossom and grow alongside me has been one of the greatest joys of this journey. Together, we have become a stronger, more united force, perfectly balancing each other's strengths and vulnerabilities. As September approaches, we are finalizing preparations for what we believe will be the culmination of all our work. We have planned a global mass meditation event, timed to coincide with the exact moment I saw in my vision. Millions of people around the world have already committed to participating, and we expect this number to grow even more in the weeks leading up to the event. The excitement is palpable. People are not just eager to participate, but feel a deep sense of purpose in contributing to this momentous occasion. However, amidst all this activity and anticipation, I am also aware that the end result is beyond our control. My experience has shown me that there are much greater forces at play, and our role is simply to open up and allow ourselves to be conduits for the transformation that is coming. We can guide, prepare, and inspire, but ultimately, the unfolding of events will be determined by forces beyond our comprehension. There are times when I wonder if we are truly prepared for what is to come. The magnitude of the change I've seen in my vision is overwhelming, and I know not everyone will welcome it with open arms. There will be confusion, fear, and resistance. Part of our work in the coming months will be to help people navigate these difficult emotions, offering support and guidance as we all adapt to a new reality. We've already established networks of support groups and counselors, knowing that emotional and spiritual support will be critical during this transition. Even so, a feeling of hope and anticipation predominates. I can feel the potential for a new chapter in human history looming on the horizon. It's a future where we are more connected, with each other, with the planet, and with the cosmos as a whole. A future where our expanded consciousness allows us to solve problems that previously seemed insurmountable. This vision of unity and collective growth fuels my determination to keep pushing forward, no matter the obstacles. As the days pass and September 2024 approaches, I find myself reflecting on the journey that brought me here. From the near-death experience that changed everything to the challenges of sharing my message, to this moment of collective anticipation, every step seems to have been guided by a greater intelligence. The synchronicities, the unexpected alliances, the personal transformations, they all point to something larger at work. Now, on the eve of this great transformation, I feel deep gratitude for everything I have experienced and everyone I have met along the way. Regardless of what September 2024 brings, I know we have done our best to prepare the ground for a new dawn of human consciousness. The seeds have been planted, the community has been built, and the message has spread far and wide. What comes next is in the hands of the universe. And so, with a heart full of hope and eyes fixed on the horizon, I prepare, along with millions of others around the world, to welcome a new era. Today is August 31st, 2024, the day before the day I saw in my vision 7 years ago. The atmosphere around me is charged with an almost palpable energy. It's as if the very air is vibrating with anticipation, and I can sense that I'm not the only one who notices this. In recent weeks, we have seen a dramatic increase in interest in our message. People from all parts of the world, of all backgrounds and beliefs, are turning to us for guidance and understanding. As we stand on the brink of this transformation, I can only hope that we have done enough. I have faith that the love and unity that has guided us so far will continue to do so, and that whatever comes next, we will face it together with open hearts and minds. The future is uncertain, but it is also filled with infinite possibilities, and I am ready to embrace them all. Our servers can barely handle the traffic on our website, and our support lines are manned 24 hours a day to address all questions and concerns. The global meditation event we have planned for tomorrow now has over 1 billion confirmed participants. It's a number that takes my breath away, a powerful demonstration of how many people are ready for this change. This overwhelming support and enthusiasm are both exhilarating and humbling, reflecting the deep resonance of our message with people across the globe. But not everything is rosy. As the day approaches, we are also seeing a rise in resistance and fear. Some accuse us of spreading panic, others label us as charlatans. There are even governmental warnings against participating in our mass meditation event. I understand these fears and resistance. Change on such a grand scale can be intimidating, and the unknown often breeds apprehension. Yet, I remain steadfast in my belief that what is coming is a profound blessing for humanity, not a curse. Today, I spent much of the day in deep meditation, tuning into the energies that are gathering around us. What I felt was beyond words. It's as if the entire universe is holding its breath, waiting for the right moment to exhale. During my meditation, I glimpsed what is to come. I saw waves of light sweeping across the planet, touching every living thing. I saw people awakening to a new reality, their eyes opening to truths that had always been there but had never been seen before. I saw the beginning of a new era of cooperation and understanding among all peoples. But I also saw challenges. There will be confusion and fear as ancient structures begin to crumble. I saw individuals clinging desperately to the familiar, resisting the change. And I saw that our work, far from ending tomorrow, is just beginning. The transition will be complex, and our role will evolve into helping people navigate this new reality with grace and support. Danielle is by my side as I write this, her presence a constant reminder of the love that has guided us. She also spent the day preparing in her own way. I see in her eyes a mix of excitement and apprehension that mirrors my own feelings. Her strength and calmness provide a balance to my own emotions, making this journey more bearable and meaningful. Our team is constantly moving, finalizing preparations for tomorrow. We have support centers established around the world, ready to help people navigate the changes that lie ahead. Our online platforms are prepared to handle the massive influx of people seeking guidance and connection. We have trained volunteers and experts on standby to assist with any issues that may arise, ensuring that our global community feels supported and informed. As night falls, I feel a strange calm settle over me. It's as if all the years of preparation, all the doubts and struggles, all the moments of joy and despair have led me to this moment. Tomorrow, when the sun rises, we will be on the brink of a new era for humanity. I don't know exactly what this will bring, but I trust what I saw and felt. I trust in the love and wisdom I experienced during my journey beyond life. As I get ready for bed, I take one last look out the window. The night sky is full of stars, each one a reminder of the vastness and beauty of the universe of which we are a part. Tomorrow, we will take our first collective step towards a deeper understanding of this vastness. With a heart full of gratitude, love, and hope, I lay down to rest. Tomorrow will be a new day, not just for me, but for all humanity, and I'm ready to welcome it with open arms. Today is August 31st, 2024, and the tension in the air is palpable. I'm sitting in my office, watching the sun set over the horizon, aware that when it rises again, we will be on the threshold of something extraordinary. The energy around me is almost electric, charged with anticipation and possibility. Since dawn, I have received incessant messages from people around the world. Some express hope and excitement, others fear and uncertainty. Everyone feels like something monumental is about to happen. Our support network is working around the clock, offering comfort and guidance to those who need it. Danielle is by my side, her presence an anchor amid the whirlwind of emotions I feel. Together, we face the future with courage and optimism. As we stand on the edge of this transformative moment, we hold on to the vision of a brighter, more connected world. The journey has been arduous, but it has brought us to this pivotal moment in human history. Tomorrow is not just another day, it's the beginning of a new era, and we are ready to embrace it. Together, we review the final preparations for tomorrow's event. More than 1 billion people have already confirmed their participation in the global meditation, a number that continues to grow by the hour. The news on television and the internet is a chaotic mix of speculation and anticipation. Some channels are broadcasting 24-hour coverage of our movement and what might happen tomorrow. Others are warning against mass hysteria and urging caution. This division of opinion serves as a sharp reminder of the challenges that still lie ahead. As the day progresses, I feel waves of energy passing through me. They are like preludes of what is to come, small glimpses of the transformation that is approaching. In moments of stillness, I can almost hear the universe whispering, preparing for the great awakening. My thoughts wander to the journey that brought me here. From the near-death experience that changed everything, through years of doubt, struggle, and discovery, to this culminating moment, I feel deep gratitude for every step of the way, even the most difficult ones. As night falls, Danielle and I get ready for bed. Tomorrow, we will wake up before dawn to prepare for the event. I lie down on the bed, my heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. What exactly will happen tomorrow? How will the world change? How will people react? I close my eyes and take a deep breath, seeking that sense of peace and unity that I experienced during my journey beyond life. It is there, pulsing gently beneath the surface of reality, waiting to be revealed to everyone. Tomorrow at 11:11 Greenwich Mean Time, the world as we know it will change forever. I don't know exactly what this change will be like, but I trust what I saw and felt. I trust the love and wisdom I have experienced. As I fall asleep on this historic night, my last thoughts are of hope. Hope for a new dawn, for a united humanity, for a future of infinite possibilities. Tomorrow we will take the first collective step towards that future. And I'm ready. We are ready. The world is ready. If you enjoyed this beautiful spiritual testimony, please leave a like, share your thoughts in the comments, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to activate the notification bell to watch every new video and help us spread this message to a wider audience. See you next time.